Hello there. Yeah, it's fine. It's been a while since I've done anything. I got a haircut, clearly. I thought it was a little too short the other day. Hang on, I'll roll down the window. It's a little muggy. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, but it's going back all right. I think it looks fine now, so I'm not as like bothered about it. But yeah, I mean, I asked for like thin out the volume, please. Keep the length. Trim, short on the sides and back. I got that. Like the same length. Like, dude, it used to come down to like bottom of my eyes. And now it's like half my eye. It's all right actually, but that's like really pulling it. And there wasn't that much when I was pulling it just now, so that's my thing. It's fine. And my hair grows back pretty fast anyway, so I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, it's been a week. Today's Friday. Heading home. Here's our last day at this office. We're moving down the street to another office building. So pretty excited for that. And yeah, next week work from home, and I will be attending a conference for the first time, pretty much, as like someone sponsored by my company. So that should be fun. Pretty excited. Ooh, shit lighting right here. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I didn't even think of a topic for this, but yeah. So I guess in terms of okay, here's the topic today. We're gonna talk about We're gonna talk about imposter syndrome. All right, I'm just trying to stick with it after that brief intro. So yeah, imposter syndrome. I'm a software engineer. It's a huge thing being an imposter here, as an engineer, just because I think there's a lot of stuff you don't know going around. Like, it's impossible to know everything, and part of feeling useful is like trying to figure out as much as you can anyway, and trying to be independent, because as software engineers, most of us are fairly introverted. I'm ENFJ. I used to be an INFJ, but the E and I was always like around 52%-ish, either way. So I think that's the source of like the introvertedness. Like, I'm not really the type of person to want to be like, hey, hi, I'm Andrew, blah, 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 I do this, I'd really prefer to just listen and, oh my God, don't, oh my gosh. What the okay, well, I'm leaving that in the video, but this car's like cut over 2 lanes. What the hell? All right. So that's my road rage. I was paying attention, but like I didn't expect them to go over 2 lanes right in front of me, because they were also slowing down. If they were slowing down, I should have expected it, or like been more defensive about it, I think. But they were really slowing down, because in the way that I thought they were gonna go behind me, and then they didn't. So they're like, I don't know, 3 car lengths in front of me, diagonally 2 lanes over, on my right, and then they slowed down to go into the lane on the left, because there's a red light ahead that we were slowing down for anyway, so I was slowing down already, and then I just noticed they kept coming, and then, dude, yeah, now they're in front of me. So yeah, classic Bay Area. Anywho, yeah, so back to the imposter syndrome. I think I've dealt with it a bit, just because, okay, yeah, of course, they're trying to go all the way over to the left. I'm still tilted. Yeah. I'm always afraid I'm gonna like see a shitty driver one day and I'll like honk at him, and it'll just end up being someone on my team. That did happen a while ago. Or it wasn't on my team, but like on my floor, which is basically the same thing, and I like totally recognized the dude. There's another younger dude on there in our org, but yeah, of course, you know what I did there, gosh, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I think imposter syndrome is something I've kind of struggled with before because I've been laid off twice. I worked at Facebook, was my first job out of college. I was laid off before my first performance review, so within 9 months of me joining, I got laid off. Very unfortunate. I don't really hold it against like anyone in particular. Maybe Zuck for going with the metaverse route, but you know, it's like, it's fine. I did all right. I got to keep my bonus, signing bonus, which is bad as shit. Yeah, it's like, it is what it is, you know, it happens. I think it was a good, like, oh my gosh, checking of, just like who I am. Because I think I went from like being very like, oh shit, I don't know if I can be a software engineer, to like, oh, hold on, I'm like working at Facebook, Meta. And then going back to like, oh shit, like, am I qualified? Was I fired? Was I laid off because I was the least qualified? Probably. Everyone else was like a returning engineer, and I've talked to them since. They've, you know, continued to grow, but we'll never know, like, what could I have done, right? And I think now is like, this is the first time getting a review and on like, you know, a larger chunk of time, and kind of being in the loop for like feeling like, oh, I'm actually like being useful and helpful. That's really started to happen like the last 2-3 weeks, where I've been like, okay, not just like do what I've been given, but go chase stuff down, like get things done, is what I've been really kind of striving for. And apparently it's been showing. Got the review, got like a refresher on, you know, equity, my bonus, stuff like that. It shows. So yeah, first like real positive enforcement on this end, honestly, that's like tangible. Like, of course people are always like, oh, you're doing great, you're a good software engineer, but like I've never been sure. You know, like when I tried to join a team at Facebook that ended up not accepting me because I didn't have the right qualifications, they were like, oh, you're a good engineer, you'll find, like, you'll be successful. And then like, goodbye, you know? So it's like hard to take that face value when people were like, you're a good engineer. Like, okay, then why did I get the job? Or like, why, you know? So yeah, kind of starting to get over it, but I think there's like just a balance between feeling like an imposter and then also feeling like, oh yeah, like I'm good, you know. I wonder how many times I say, you know. Anywho, I think something that I've struggled with a lot is just feeling like I'm doing well, I'm doing enough. And I think that kind of that kind of satisfaction I've looked for from other people, like my parents, or like teachers, you know, in grades, reviews in code, reviews at work now. And I think at the end of the day, like, it should not come from there. Like, all this kind of like, I'm doing well, that is like a good kind of like confirmation, but every day, like, that has to come from like myself. Like, that's like the self, it's like the independence that I need to be able to operate in a way that is independent of other, I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but just, you know, it's independent. I have to be able to do it in order to like keep doing it the next day. Like, at the end of like, for a lot of individual things that I like to do, like surfing, the performance is up to me. You know, like, other people can say, hey, like, you did well, and I can be like, oh yeah, like, I learned how to surf in like 2 sessions, right? But like, getting through the beginner phase has never been a problem for me. It's always like, once I hit like intermediate, like, I've learned the basics. How do I put that together and like master them in a way that's like very functional? That part has always been more difficult and like harder to kind of confirm. What is this on the ground? Looks like a... What? I don't even know who honked. So distracting. All right. Yeah, so I think like that self kind of feeling like I'm doing well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm succeeding at it. That has to come from myself, you know, just like, how do I track that? How do I measure that is really up to me. And I think it could be simplified down to just like a feeling of like, hey, I feel good today. I had a good day. And there's, nothing more needs to be said. I think trying to apply measurements to a lot of things, like, hey, I caught 7 waves today, or I was able to ride the wave all the way this way. Like for work, I pumped out 5 PRs today. Like, that's a lot. Not normal, right? Like, that's not necessarily a full measure of success or like having a good day. So yeah, I think it's just down to feelings, because every day is different, and you kind of adjust to it. So yeah, I think that's how I've been trying to like approach things in general. Because like today I didn't do a lot of coding. I didn't even activate my cert until like 2 p.m. and then I wrote comments. I didn't even code, really. I wrote some tests, but I didn't code, that was a lot of knows. I should count these. Yeah, so that's from like a success standpoint. And then the other side of like imposter syndrome is just like feeling like I know enough. There's a lot of, I think I've also struggled with like doing enough due diligence in making sure like I'm making the right claim before I suggest something to someone at work, or in other things. Like something I struggled with last year, or something I brought up a lot last year, was like in volleyball, I don't feel like I am knowledgeable enough to discuss things or like tell people how to do things, because I also just picked it up. This is like 4 years now. 4 years ago, and I'm largely self-taught. I watch like YouTube videos, I like ask people stuff, but none of these people are like, okay, some of these people are like more well taught, but it's third-party knowledge. Like, I'm not getting a lot of like actual coaching that has been like applicable. And I think specific to volleyball, it is really like some things are just down to like personal preference. Like, I don't have long arms. I'm not tall. Like, I literally cannot do some of the things that other people do. So if someone who has like those attributes, they might have a different way of doing it, and that's just down to like personal preference, really. There are like right ways to swings and like jump in ways that like don't hurt you or like put other people at risk. I think those are important to be aware of, but how you actually go about doing it and like the minuscule details, those are really down to myself and my personal experience. Just like figuring out like, how do I move, how do I jump, how do I turn my hips, what am I activating, just like based on my previous experience playing other sports like basketball, or running track. These give me a foundation, but they're not the same foundation that a specifically volleyball trained person would have. So for example, I guess I don't need to give an example, but yeah, that is kind of my take on that. And I think within software engineering, there's like I'm meeting people who have been working on these products for like a long time, and I feel the difficulty in like raising issues to them when it's like this senior software engineer and I'm just a software engineer right now. How do I go about telling them like, hey, I think it should be this way, these are the reasons why? And then I've come across a lot of times where people will bring up context that I'm just straight up not aware of, and they have that context because they've been working on this for a while. So to me, it's like suddenly I feel discouraged to raise these questions and suggestions because I feel like they should just know better, or like they know better. And I just assume that, when it's not always the case. And sometimes like just me bringing up, continuously asking is like an important part of growing as an engineer, just like as a person. Just like, you got to keep asking and like bringing up like your reasons for why you're getting to this, and then you'll get to a point where people will challenge you, or they'll accept it. Like, I think I have to be the one to challenge what I'm seeing, because I have a question. Like, why are we doing it this way? Why is always the most important question to kind of target, in order to understand things deeply and be able to fix them on my own later on. Because I can't just be like, hey, like, how do I do this, how do I do this, how do I do this? Like, I've been taught how to hit a ball, okay, back to volleyball, volleyball again. I've been taught how to hit a ball by a lot of different people, quite a few different times, and I still can't quite do it very well. So I think I'm getting more and more to the point where it's just like I have to go and do it and work with, bad setters. I can't just blame them, and everything. Like, I just keep doing it and like trying to improve and adjust to everything that I've done in order to eventually produce like a strong, consistent swing, jump, etc. that works. So yeah, like I do feel like I short sell myself quite a bit. I like a lot of it is just trying to be like humble and like not to brag too much, because I really don't like bragging, and that is something that is noted to be like a software engineer weakness, where people are underselling themselves when it comes to like yearly reviews. Like, they'll be like, I didn't do much, and that's something I said this year, was like, I didn't do much. Like, I don't feel like I'm working that hard. This is the hardest I've worked in my life, overall, like for an extended period of time. Like, I am working more and like harder. The work is harder, but I am not like nose down up at midnight doing stuff all the time. I'll do it a few times a week, not a few times a week, but like I'll do it occasionally when it's like I need to, or like someone is abroad, someone is I'm just working with people who are not in our time zone. I'll do it. I did it yesterday, I did it Wednesday. It's fine. Yeah, but I'm not like pushing myself all the time and like giving up parts of my life in order to accommodate for work. And I think that's like kind of it's a good boundary and like wellness thing to be aware of. But I think that's like, knowing that is what makes me feel like I'm not working hard, because I'm not sacrificing much, like, okay, said it again. But like in the morning, I will sleep in if I'm tired, and that I recognize like that's something I am given the benefit of. Like, I don't have a lot of early meetings where I need to be up, otherwise I would be there, and my work allows for that, where I can be at home working if I do wake up like too late to get to the office before a meeting. That flexibility is there, so I think that I do kind of take it for granted, I would say. Like, at my last job, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit of a hater here because I did not like that job. At my last job, my manager, the CTO was my manager. She would call me at like whenever she wanted. She would just Microsoft Teams call me, and it was the most frustrating thing in the world, and I just hated going in. I didn't like it. But like getting that random call, like without like hey, you free? Are you free in 5 minutes? Are you free? Give me a call when you're ready. Like those messages are like, I just take that for granted. And especially remote, like getting a sudden call when nothing's scheduled sucks ass. It was, and then, she'd be like, call me back. And I'm like, dude, I'm in the bathroom, or I'm literally not, like, I'm eating, taking a nap, whatever. Like, maybe I shouldn't be doing these things. Maybe that's not cool. Like, sure. But the way things are now, I definitely prefer it. It's like I have a schedule, I have, things to tend to. And I like the way things work. And it works for me, can sleep in. I get my stuff done. I think that's like the crucial part. Like, I don't think it, like my life just revolves around like, I get it done. That's it. Like, I'll go beyond and like do more, but mostly just get it done. I don't need to sit at my desk in like exactly 9 to 5 to get things done. I don't work very well like that. I work well when at certain times of day, sometimes it's at night. Sometimes it's early in the morning. If I work out in the morning, then I'll feel pretty good right after, and then late in the afternoon I'll get tired. that all happens, I think those are all like reasonable allowances to kind of make. It's like here and there, things are going to change. Let that go. Yeah, I think something I'm really trying to be cautious of is getting too comfortable where I am. I think this is a potential issue. I don't think it's happening, but it's like it could happen. Just like getting used to the flexibility and the benefits I have right now, and then like as I get more important, as I kind of am right now, it's like I'm getting pulled into more meetings where those will like require me to be online at certain times for all this stuff. I can't sneak away to go do stuff. Okay, sneak away is kind of, but I can't slip off and like go home early like I am. I left like 15 minutes early today, but sometimes I'll leave at 4, sometimes I'll leave at 3, and then I'll just be like, yeah, I'm gonna keep working when I get home. But once I have like meetings kind of like stacking up the way I see my managers have like back-to-back meetings, then I wouldn't be able to do that. It's just like once I'm there, you know, or if I don't make it, I'm just at home for the whole day. Like I could get locked. People get locked like that. And you know, that's just like something, oh my God, I said it again. Fuck me. It's just something I want to be kind of aware of going forward, and then you know, kind of acknowledge as my career grows, like, do I want, is managing in my path? Is this something I want? How important do I want to be? And so far, my impression is that actually like the cleanest path to align with what I have right now and, you know, continue growing is to just get promoted like once or twice, be like reasonably senior, but not like a lead manager senior, because I think that's where your schedule starts to really get like clogged up. So I think staying within the engineer path is ideal time-wise. Now for like personal growth and like what I actually find fulfilling, managing might be it. So we'll see. This is all just down the line, conjectures, based on observations I've made so far, and I'm just excited to kind of like see how things go. There's a lot of potential here to like do stuff with my life. I'm happy. The weather's been great. That's been super fantastic for my mood. Yeah. Let's see how things go. And yeah, you guys will be along for the journey.